Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Tuesday afternoon, November 8th. We are looking at ES's market profile. Window Trader's market profile of the ES and SPY. And again, rough day for some people. A couple people in the room had a rough day. We talk about this constantly, how we have to respect what these short-term traders bring to the table and how vicious they can be. The buy side had a lot going for them early, only to give it all up. Then the sell side took over, and guess what? They also gave it up as we just ripped back and forth on price. The key is to let these short-term algos and retail traders stretch out as much as they can get, right? And then look for visual areas. We were talking about it early. After the market stretched out A through E, wait for two-sided trade. What is two-sided trade to me? When you have single prints, we had 4 sets of single prints at one point. Until you get at least 3 wide in the profile, that becomes two-sided trade for me. If not, it's just continual single prints for the most part, right? Then you look for your short. Then you see the market get a little stretched out, a little too long, and wait for it to flush. Now, I didn't expect it to flush as much as it did and take out the day's low and go trend down. I didn't expect that to hold either, and I did well on that. But it did happen. It did happen. Somebody said, somebody in Germany came out about some recession news. You can use whatever excuse you want, okay? But like I told the room, well, if the reason the market went down is because of that headline, well, then the recession ended in 3 time frames because we went right back up and almost took out the day's high, right? Same with FedEx. FedEx supposedly said something. Well, FedEx didn't come out 2 hours later and said, oh, only kidding, everything's okay. Now, that's going to affect FedEx. But again, we can't use headlines or news things as excuses for what the market does or doesn't do. We have to use MGI, and we have to respect how much short-term traders can move a market. Plain and simple. I had a good day today. The only trade I was really at risk initially was in I period. But I held it, did well on it. It paid me before it totally rolled over. So as far as my trades went, in A period, I didn't do anything in A. In fact, A, B, C, D, and E, I only traded 1 time frame, B, and I was long it 3 times. I was long it to get the overnight high. I was long it to pop I was long it to pop the day's high, long it to get the overnight high, and long it when we started getting above the overnight high. 3 times. E period, I missed the short. I'm like, we were talking about, well, where would they possibly stop the way they were grinding up? And I said, probably, where the heck are we here? I'll get it in a second. Where was November 2nd? I said maybe around A's high to the 11 wide POC and the overnight POC, which was, this is wrong. It was 12 wide and 14 wide. The reason for that is this is when the trend, the Fed day ripped up and down, spent no time at these wide pointed controls. I said maybe that's an area we'll stop. Well, guess what? That's basically where we stopped on the upside, right? And then the longs got they got tied. They weren't getting paid. Boom, flushed out. So I missed the short knee because I wanted to short it at 67.50. Missed it because we got up to what? 67. I had an offer in at 67.50. My next trade was a short. Once when there was no tempo against F and G's high. And then again when it came down and was about to take out G's low, jumped in on a 3 lot. And I'd be lying if I said I took it the whole way down, that's for sure. Because I was looking for an afternoon pullback at some point. I didn't expect him to take back 3 sets of single prints. But I did well on the short, and I started along at half back, which at the time, I believe was at 39. I think 39 is ringing a bell. Or maybe, I think, actually my first short, no, my first short was around, 39 or 40. But it was only a 1 lot. Then I added a little more, and I actually got long 6. So I was long 6. It got below the opening, but then my average price was 32. And it got down to 24 at that time. And then went back up, and I started taking them off between 35 and 37 and took them all off there. And then it rolled over again. I'm not taking that long again. Okay, so I made money. I probably averaged out around 35.5, 36 on a 6 lot. Then in K period, I didn't do anything in J. I'm like, I'm neutral now. I don't know what they really want to do. Well, they filled the trend day from yesterday, had single prints. I took a small short, made like only 2 or 3 points. And then K started going up. I'm like, if that's all they wanted to do is fill those single prints and get rejected out of the lower distribution from yesterday, this trend day today is not going to hold. Well, it didn't. And I took a 3 lot long to go fill the single prints. The only, which worked out nice. The only other trade I was thinking about doing was a long to stop the one-time framing, but I didn't do it. And that's it. So it turned out to be a good day. But some people had some rough days, and I hate to see that. But again, we have to use stops, and you have to respect how much they can move the market. Upside destinations in SPY 385.12, 388 is daily high, 388.63, 390.39 weekly high. Downside is today's low of 377.72, and then you should have the ones I gave you from yesterday. In ES, downside is 92.75, and the upside is 67, and then 07. Now, what changed on the charts? And the answer is absolutely nothing. Keep that in mind. Nothing changed. Right? You have the election now. That's going to be closing tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing is not settled right away. So I'd be very careful if you trade in the overnight. Don't believe any headlines you see. And tomorrow, all we have is today's high and low to lean on. That's it. So if we open up inside of today's range, you're going to get massive chop. So make sure you have your hard hats on. We are still up in the daily, though. Nothing changed. We tested the 50-day moving average today late when we came down and tried to go trend and stayed above it. The monthly is balanced. The weekly is balanced. The daily is up. CPI is on Thursday. Hope you had a good day trading. Thanks for the likes and subscribing. Enjoy your evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.